Whoa, look at this. No, don't look at the dog. Look at this. This video is about this, not this. Hi, Concho. Thanks for tuning in, Jeff Ferris on Hot Homestead. This video we're going to talk a little bit about putting this together and burning it and all that. Basically, it's just 2x6 and made into a mudroom bench. And Concho even approves. Huh, Concho? Do you approve? He wants me to open the door so we can go outside for a walk. But it's muddy outside, and I don't want to bring extra mud inside. So he's bumming. Anyhow, let's get to this video. So burning some wood turned out really nice. This is just standard pine 2x6. And just see how it just brings out the wood. Very nice. These are the dividers on the bottom of the bench, kind of the support pieces that will make some cubby holes underneath. Some beautiful coloring. Look at that. I like how it I love how this turned out. But now check this out. Those are my first two. No clue what I was doing. Yeah, I think the lighter color looks a lot better. I kind of went overboard. I didn't know what I was doing. I've never done this before. Now I ran out of my 2x6, so I had to pull out some pressure treated. So this is pressure treated 2x6 to come up with the rest of it. These are going to be in the back, so you won't notice these at all. So, but I had to do some of these. But you're actually not going to notice too. You're only going to notice really the side of a couple of these, because the way that they sit in there. But it looks pretty cool. The seat itself. This is the seat itself. I really like how this came out. So this is the base. And see, I did these first. Kind of did these here. That's the other really dark one. These were first, and like those were second, and then this. So if you're going to burn wood, definitely do samples so you can see how much you want to burn it. Then I put a couple of coats of some waterproof sealant, some clear sealant on there. That way you don't get the charcoal from the burn on you, and it kind of seals it in. And then also if it gets wet, it's not going to harm the wood at all. So what I'm also doing is I am putting some pocket holes in the base or in the support pieces. So this will screw down to the bottom. This will screw up to the top of the seat. This way you don't have any exposed screws. So this is just your standard Craig pocket hole jig. I like that you can set the thickness of the board, and then basically you set it in here, kind of line it up to how you want it. You adjust this with this bolt here, and then you just kind of do however way you need to, and just make sure it doesn't have to be perfect, just as long as it's semi-snug to hold it in place. Then I normally throw my hand up on top just to help stabilize the whole thing. And then there's a special drill bit that's got this stop here, this collar, and it actually gives you, I don't know how well you can see, there you go, you see the the half, the 3/4, and then that says 1.5. So 1.5, because this 2x6 is 1.5. So I set it to the 1.5 stop, and then when it goes in, I chose to go in this one and that one. And there's 3 set there, so you can use different size boards and all that stuff. And then I just would drill in there till I hit the stop, and I was good to go. Pretty simple. But I tell you what though, you've got to set this here. That's at exactly 1.5 there. But you can see all the different board thicknesses you can use. And you just loosen this and adjust it up and down. I like this pocket hole deal. Alright, the bench is coming along nicely. All made out of 2x6s. I burned them. I put some waterproofing stuff on. But you know, after I've been starting putting it together, I think what I need to do is probably put some other clear coat on there, like more of a finish like you might have with a table or a countertop, only because I guess it kind of comes out, but I don't know if you can kind of see how it scratches it up a little bit. So I may have to do something like that on the base and the top. But what's nice about at least putting that clear stain on it, that waterproofing stain, at least your black, your char of the wood doesn't get all over your hands. So it makes it easier to work with. So I've got my pocket holes. I'm using 2.5 inch because these are 1.5 inch. And then I anchored the back one into the wall. These are just anchored to the floor. I don't have them anchored together. And then I got some coming up here that I'll anchor to this guy here. And then, but I like the look of it so far. I had labeled them A, B, C, D. Because actually, what's interesting is nothing is square, right angle, nothing in this place. So this one is actually taller than that one. But yet, this is totally level. So anyhow, then I screwed those down. Then on the ends here, I've got a couple of screws up here, a couple of screws down there going into the wall. They're 3-inch screws. So it would go through this, and then go through the 1/2 inch OSB behind it. So now one thing I want to point out when I'm doing this, when you're doing the pocket holes, you know, the jig, you gotta use this fancy bit here because as you can see, it's a square. Now what I noticed in doing so, I want to go really slow. I don't want to go super fast like you might with a regular screw. You want to go slow so it doesn't bounce out of this and it stays in there. A lot better when you go slow. Now also what I noticed though was when I was trying to pocket hold this guy here, this board would want to shift this way on me. So what I ended up doing was I used another board itself to put on its side and then put pressure here, and then as I went to screw down here, it kept it in place. So that worked out. Then when I ran out of boards, then I used this. It didn't work as well, but I only had to do it to one, so it worked out okay. Now as you can tell, it's not absolutely perfect because nothing is perfect in my place, but I like the look of it, so now I just have to continue. But look how well these pocket holes do. That's just screwed to the bottom. You know, they're in there pretty good. So if anything, the pocket holes just make it a little sturdier. And then once you have them all together, these are 12 inches apart. Put these guys up, and I don't know how I'm going to do this, because when I go the pocket hole going upward, I also have to apply pressure going down. And I don't know how I'm going to work all that just yet. A towel and a block right there or something, a cinder block, I don't know, that may help. I don't know. I can't clamp it, there's nothing to clamp it to. I don't know what I'm going to do, I'll figure it out, and then I'll let you know. So on this bench, to hold it down, when I was doing the pocket holes, the screws going upward, I didn't show it because, well, I don't know, I kind of forgot. Just got busy working and kind of didn't video it. But anyhow, basically all I did was I did this back one first, and on this back one I just took a block that I had, and I actually, on the ends down here, these braces, I put a cut piece of 2x4 over it, and then I put a piece of cardboard, and then I put the block over it, and that's what held it down, and it worked out perfectly. So, and I think what also kind of helped was when I was doing the screw and I went really slow, it bit into this nicely. It didn't push it up, and then once it started biting into it, then it kind of pulled it down into it. So it worked out perfectly. I used that throughout the whole process. So I started on one end, then I went to the other end, and so that way the end screwed down would also help the center. So I really only used it on the ends, and it worked out perfect. So I like my bench. I do like the bench. So earlier in the video I talked about using 2.5-inch screws. Well, that works fine when you don't care where the other half goes. But here's the thing. I'm going by what this guy here tells me. It says material thickness is 1.5 inches. Use a 2.5-inch screw. So I did. Well, the problem was when I was securing the bench top to the support pieces, it actually poked through about 1/2 inch. So that's the wrong size. I don't understand their thinking with this, because here's the thing. So this is here's the bench, and this is that support piece. As it goes through here, it continued another 1/2 inch. So you got about 1/2 inch here, and then an 1.5 inches here. So there's your 2 inches. Then your other 1/2 inch ended up poking all the way through. So maybe a 2-inch would work. I ended up going with 1.5 inches, because the 1.5 inches seemed to be perfect. 1/2 inch here, 1 full inch into this board, and for the top half it looked fine. Now on the bottom, I was going through the floor, so I didn't care if I poked through. So using that was just fine there. But I don't understand this whole screw selection. So if you're using pocket holes, my only concern is you want to kind of double check. See, this here says 1 inch and use 1.5 inches. Well, again, that's kind of, I don't know. I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. So I ended up using 1.5 inches, even though it calls for 2.5. But for the base going down into the floor, I went ahead and just used that because it went all the way through. So I don't know. I just wanted to bring that up because I don't understand why. Because the other 1/2 inch, I don't know. I don't get it. There you go. There you have it. The mudroom bench. And then I'll got plenty of room down there for shoes and other stuff. And I'll go. But yeah, very cool. It works nice. See you. Bye. Have fun. There you go. There you have it. The mudroom bench. And then I'll got plenty of room down there for shoes and other stuff. And I'll go. But yeah, very cool. It works nice. See ya, bye, have fun.